Hello, hello, and good day, adventurers. Today we are going to be talking about another one of my gauntlets. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the Gauntlet of Inner Beauty. The Gauntlet of Inner Beauty it's called Inner Beauty because depending on who wears it, they could actually not be beautiful. The Gauntlet could technically make them more beautiful depending on how you see charisma stat works in roleplay. But it essentially is really good at controlling people, making people like you more. It's got a couple of offensive qualities, and it's just really good at. It's really good for bards or rogues, but in my personal opinion, I think it's really great no matter who ends up getting their hands on this gauntlet, because I feel like anybody could use the ability to persuade somebody a little bit better, or control somebody for a short time, or be able to rain down a little bit of pain onto their opponents. This gauntlet's going to have all that. So without further ado, I say let's dive right into it, shall we? So here we have, let's make big me disappear and little me appear. Alright, and I started too far down at the bottom. Here we go. We have the Gauntlet of Inner Beauty. When you put this gauntlet on, your body seems to painfully reconstruct itself. Your blood also feels as if it's starting to be filtered through the gauntlet. Level 1, Alluring Presence is your first ability. This is a constant effect. Everyone within 20 feet of you must make a will save against 10 plus half your hit die plus your charisma modifier. Those who fail the save have an attitude one step higher than normal when talking to you. On a successful save, the individual is immune to alluring presence for the next 24 hours. So right off the bat, we have a persuasive ability that makes it a lot easier. So when you're walking through crowds, people are going to be, they're going to be eyeing you up. They're going to be curious about you. They're going to be, for some reason, liking you no matter what. It's going to be a much more stressful situation when you're dealing with more stronger people. Obviously, you're not going to be able to convince everybody, but it is going to be something that's going to give you a little bit of advantage to maybe convince some thugs or some basic shop owners or something like that. People that are not all that important during the story, you're going to be able to convince them to like you a little bit more, to work with you a little bit more, and that's going to be very beneficial roleplay wise. Level 2, you gain a +2 to charisma, which is a huge deal because of my previous gauntlets. It only gave a +1 and then a +2. Well, this one gives a +2 right off the bat, which immediately affects alluring presence, because alluring presence is based off your charisma modifier, so it's immediately a +1 to your alluring presence. Level 3, you get a +2 to your diplomacy and bluff skill, which is once again really good for roleplay, keeping people. Now, as you can see, I don't have intimidate part of it, because I don't think Inner Beauty and how this gauntlet works, intimidate would be one of the things that you would get a buff to. I think convincing people that you are trustworthy, such as bluff and diplomacy, is more on par with what this gauntlet is trying to do. Level 4, your alluring presence range increases to 30 feet, and now on a successful save, the individual is immune to alluring presence till they leave and re-enter alluring presence range, meaning that you can always leave and come back to try again. Keeping in mind, though, you're going to have to roleplay this a little bit, because I feel that as your GM should stress that it's suspicious of you to keep walking back and forth, and so it should start counteracting the fact that you're improving someone's opinion of you by one step, because you might have damaged it by one step by constantly leaving and coming back. So you have to role play a good explanation, like maybe being extremely flamboyant and running to another person to talk to them, and then running back to the other person to talk to them. Being stuff like that, it keeps you less suspicious and allowing you to get your additional shots at alluring presence going off. And then also your charisma modifier increases to +4. Pretty big deal. Normally we don't get a +4, a doubling of another +2 until way later down in the levels, but this is mostly going to be improving charisma, and so it's going to boost charisma a little bit more than the others. Level 5, your alluring presence DC is increased by 1, and you may now affect a single target within your alluring presence range that failed their saving throw as the spell charm person / charm animal caster level equals character level. So now you're able to actually get a stronger connection, a stronger control over somebody who has failed against your alluring presence. And so you're able to now control an animal that was within your alluring presence, or you're able to now control a person to actually do what you want them to do, and so it gives you a little bit more advantage. Level 6, you gain a +1 to your dex and a +1 to wisdom. Normally you only get +1 to 1 stat. This one gives you +1 to 2 stats, and so this gauntlet is a little bit seeing as how it's more roleplay focused. I wanted to make the bonuses for actual combat and stuff like that. I wanted to make those bonuses, those statistical bonuses, a little bit more effective, a little bit more in place on the person. And so level 7, you gain your first offensive ability with this gauntlet, which is called Cool Beauty. A number of times per day equal to 1 plus your charisma modifier, you may rain hail down on your enemies as the spell Ice Storm caster level equals character level. This is one of the few actual offensive abilities on the gauntlet, and it is another thing to make you seem really cool because you're raining ice down on your opponents and stuff like that. It is more of a roleplay effect, kind of like how the gauntlet of what was it? So many, I've already forgotten them all. The gauntlet of Burning Faith would make it so that way a storm will appear above you and raining hellfire down on your opponents. This is kind of the same thing, but it's ice. And so yeah, it has that roleplay effect, that cool roleplay effect that a storm's above you, and that Mother Nature or the gods are raining down essentially hell onto your enemies. And then level 8, you gain a +1 to your strength and a +1 to your intelligence. Level 9, your alluring presence DC increases to +12, or increases to a baseline of 12. And now you may affect a single target within alluring presence range that failed their saving throw as the spell charm monster caster level equals character level. So this is much more effective. It can now hit those animals and everything like that. It can hit both of them. It's a lot more stronger. It can hit monsters now. Level 10, your charisma modifier increases to +6. Level 11, you get Beautiful Shine. You may, as a swift action, have your body illuminate when in dark areas as the spell Light at will. This is also a huge deal for roleplay effects because you can give that sort of extra shine to your character to make it seem like your character is a little bit more important than everybody else, and so it makes people more attracted to who you are. Level 12, your Diplomacy and Bluff skill increases to a +4. Level 13, your Alluring Presence increases to a 13 baseline, and now you gain Beautiful Focus. You may now choose who to affect with your Alluring Presence by excluding a number of targets within your area equal to your Charisma modifier. So now you can choose to not affect certain people. So maybe somebody's already gotten the whiff of what your gauntlet does and they don't trust it, and so they immediately are extremely resistant against your ability and so on and so forth. Or maybe you're sick of affecting certain people and you just want to leave certain people out of it and you want people to make their own choices, stuff like that. Or you're sick and tired of your party members constantly rolling against this as well. Then yeah, you're going to go ahead, you're going to exclude them from that, and you can keep them excluded for an entirety of the gauntlet being on you. Level 14, your Dex and Wisdom increases to +2. Level 15, your Alluring Presence now changes to everyone within 40 feet of you must make a will save each turn they are within Alluring Presence range. So now Alluring Presence is so strong and so effective that it is going to keep on hammering people to fail and 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 to fail until they finally do. making you much more likely that when you walk through a crowd, you are definitely triggering everybody to essentially fall in love with your character, or like your character, or just trust your character a little bit more than they should. Level 16, your strength and intelligence increases to +2. Level 17, your DC for your alluring presence increases to 14. And now when someone fails against your alluring presence, you can target them with a dominate person spell, which is much more effective than charm monster, charm person, stuff like that. It's now straight up domination. You can now completely take over somebody and have them do exactly what you want them to do. Level 18, your diplomacy and bluff increases to +6, and you gain domineering beauty. When rolling to seduce/persuade someone, you get to roll twice and take the highest of the two. So this essentially is whenever rolling diplomacy or bluff to either seduce or persuade. I leave that up to your GM to decide whether or not you are being persuasive or you are trying to seduce. But again, it's open to interpretation. But it gives you a chance to do a little bit better at it than everybody else. So again, this gauntlet is giving you a little bit more strength and control over being able to control other people. Level 19 was where our alluring presence DC increases to 16, and all of our stats get a huge bump. Charisma changes to a +8, Dex improves to a 4, Wisdom 4, Strength 4, Intelligence 4, Diplomacy and Bluff into an 8, and now, sorry about that, Kitty wants attention. A number of times per day equal your cool beauty now goes off a number of times per day equal to 3 plus your charisma modifier, instead of 1. So just another huge bonus to your character, roughly around the level 18-19 range, like in all my previous gauntlets. And finally, at level 20, you gain an ability called Beautiful Beast. You may siphon life from a target like the spell Steal Years Greater, except these years are permanent and will add or reduce the amount. She really wants attention, so apologies about that. So yeah, you may siphon life from a target like the spell Steal Years Greater, except these years are permanent and will add or reduce the amount of years till you and the target die of natural causes, allowing you to drain all the life out of someone if you so wish. You may also target any character currently affected by your alluring presence instead of making a touch attack, but the target must be under the effects of your alluring presence and be within your alluring presence range. You may also sacrifice any number of years to your life to heal twice as many hit points or twice as many stamina points / heal an equal amount of health points if using real health system, which I still have yet to talk about, on target touched by under your touch or under the effects of the alluring presence and was within its range. You may also heal yourself this way when draining years to avoid reducing your age too far. If you ever heal more than your current hit points or total stamina, if you're using real health, you instead gain those extra points as temporary hit points that last a number of minutes equal to your character level. Once again, caster level equals character level for this ability. So here we have a great ability to essentially siphon life off of people, make yourself young, kind of gives you that Elizabeth Bathory, I think is what her name was, a kind of effect where you are now stealing the life out of people to make yourself younger, to make yourself essentially more alluring and more attractive, more powerful with your abilities. But also you can now heal people by sacrificing your own years. Maybe you store up a bunch of years, and you can sacrifice those years to heal people around you, or you can give yourself temporary hit points when you're draining people, stuff like that. And that is the Gauntlet of Inner Beauty. I hope you guys have been enjoying my gauntlets. I hope you guys are using them. If you are using them, go ahead, let me know in the comments below, or come to a stream, talk to me in a stream. I'd love to talk about it. If you have ideas of how to make the gauntlet better, or how maybe an ability should work instead, go ahead and let me know that. Maybe I'll change it, maybe I won't. I can't make any promises. But yeah, go ahead and speak your mind. Speak your mind as much as you like. Otherwise, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are looking forward to the next one, and I hope you guys have a safe adventure.